Hi there, how are you doing? Things are good here. Uh, Weather's been, I don't know even why I even talk about the weather, but I guess it's a good intro. It's been cold here in New Jersey, so we're talking more snow. I don't know. But things look green, so maybe spring is on its way, which would be great. So I hope you're all doing well. Uh, I really enjoyed looking at these readings for this coming weekend, and especially because it's all about being called to do God's work. And you certainly, that's what you're doing by teaching, handing on our faith. And, it just isn't for everyone. Everyone, I think, does have a call, but you need to pay attention to that to make sure that's what it is and to be fortunate enough. Well, it's not really fortune. I think we need to take the time to really discern what are those gifts that I have that I can share. What complements that call from Jesus for what we do. So the first reading today, this coming weekend, is about Isaiah and his call to be prophet, to share, uh, his experiences and prophecies. So, Isaiah plays such a key role in our history of faith, of our faith tradition, that we hear a lot about him at Christmas time. We hear a lot about him. He talks really about this Jesus who will be a servant, who will be a leader, not anything else we know. And it's the knowledge of sharing that we will have a Messiah who will come. So his predictions, I guess you want to say, or his prophecy. So it starts there, and we're kind of set up for that. And as the readings go on, you know, um, when we look at the second reading from the book, I think it's a letter to the Corinthians, who were, that church at the time was struggling with different things, and St. Paul tries to get them on the right path by saying to them, you know, um, don't believe what you choose to believe. You've got to have this faith of God, really cemented in you. And perhaps that is what the call is about, that those who are called already have something within us that we have from God, just because we were born and made in God's image and likeness. So everyone, I believe, gets some kind of a call. We just have to be discerning about it. Some people don't feel worthy of working with God, so to speak. And that's too bad, because the church needs everyone with their special gifts. And in the gospel, we see the call of Peter. And here he is, just a fisherman, and doesn't really know, well, knows that Jesus is there, but really is cemented, and as so many are, because Jesus performed a miracle. Maybe people needed to see that to get them, more in the believing kind of place. And when we have this call, and you look at it and you read the scriptures throughout, even the old and the old in the Old Testament, like Moses is encountering God, the creator God. And then in the New Testament, we have people encountering Jesus. And that's where it starts, that encounter with Christ, uh, reaffirming us, validating us, loving us. And that's when we really are willing, I believe, to take that call and do what it is we're supposed to do. How does God want me to help God um, keep building up God's kingdom? What are my gifts? What are my talents? And so I said, here's poor Peter, really um, is a fisherman, and he will become the leader of all the Christian communities eventually. And as we know, the first pope. So it's just really interesting how God works, and God can work in different ways. Uh, and I believe the ministry that we do and handing on the faith is so important. And on all levels, from the womb to the tomb, people always want to keep, I believe, people keep wanting to learn more and more. And I see it. They just don't know how to go about it. So that's why they need us. And I guess you would call us maybe more professional, because we do work in the church. and we've been trained. Many of us have been trained, some maybe have not, but some of us, have taken serious training to do this. Um, no matter what, it's the gift of our love, and that comes forth in the relationships we have with those we minister to. So that is what's going on this weekend in terms of call. And it's important, I believe, for us to kind of meditate on that. When did you first realize that God was asking you to do something that and what was your reaction to that? Did you feel you were capable? Did you feel you needed to learn more? Did you feel unworthy? Did you feel excited and ready to, go on and go run with this and do God's work? I, I've had the privilege of meeting Jesus many times through an encounter one way or another. And I knew from a long time ago that I was going to head down this path. And all I can say when people talk to me is like, what is that like? I said, well, you're working with God. I mean, and you're working with the people who are desiring God. It doesn't get much better than that. And even when I taught at the college, I I taught in a graduate program for religious education, and I would say to everybody at a meeting, I got the best job in the world. I mean, in this college, you're working with great people. You're working with people who want to learn more, who want to serve God more. I don't think it gets much better than that. So again, pay attention to your call. And sometimes after the initial call, God is calling you to do something else in God's name. And always be open to that too. What is God asking you to do? Is God asking you to learn more? Is God asking you to branch out a little bit or use your own instincts and knowledge of how to improve things or make them better? So we're always open to God's calling us. We always have to discern that. And it's always a good thing, I promise you. Not necessarily without its issues, because that's life, it would be. But from my experience working with God, uh, and watching things unfold because God already figured it out, I just have to kind of go along with it. And it's such a wonderful privilege to be able to do that. So think about that this weekend. Meditate on that when you think about these readings. And I would suggest you read them again and see where you fit in at this time in your life and your journey in terms of responding to God's call. So have a good rest of the week. See you later next week. And God bless.